On day 9, Bird began to break his shackles. It was time to bust out of his cage. It took time, for the cold steel was tightly fastened around his ankles. Then it happened. The rattle of broken chains and Bird took off. The guards were absolutely stunned. Bird was on the run and had made it through the front gate. Bird ran as fast as he could. But unlike the guards, there was one hot on his tail. The leader of the slave traders was running Bird down himself. Let me tell you, the Wasteland is cruel. My legs don't work. I'm still cute though, but also dying. I'm PC, your tiny exoskeleton-clad protagonist, and this is day 1 of my 100-day journey through Kenshi, a world where survival is a suggestion and repair kits are apparently mythical artifacts. Today I begin my monk training. I seek peace, enlightenment, and functioning limbs. But after one bad encounter with the local wildlife, I spent the next 2 days crawling through the wasteland like a spiritual Roomba. Now, without further ado, let day 1 begin. I started off hearing a rumor about some cats to be made, so I ran for it. I was unfortunately stopped at the gates by some monks, guardian monks in fact, checking to make sure I didn't have contraband, which I didn't, so they ended up letting me through. And on the outside, I discovered a battle, and being the battle monk that I am, I of course joined in. After a grueling, heartfelt battle, I had won. I did end up getting some minor injuries, but that should be fine. Wrong. I was ambushed, and then I went down. And then these creepy crawlies came crawling up out of nowhere. Oh my god! Fortunately, my monk brethren came to the rescue, slaying the beast. And although they left me there to die, I did find the opportunity to grab some more loot. After securing the loot, I began to crawl my way back home. Perhaps inside I could find a repair kit to save myself. And let it be known, the crawling upstairs with a broken body is incredibly difficult. The truth is, my fellow monks did try to heal me, but being as I'm a robot, they were unable to. I really should have done what my papa said and been a farmer monk. Upon entering the gates once more, I thought of it. Maybe the bar has some repair kits for me, so I made my way there. It was an extremely long crawl. Once inside, I made my way over to the barkeeper. Please tell me you have repair kits. The barkeeper had many things, but a repair kit, sadly, was not one of them. So I sold my wares and had to leave. On my way out of the bar, I attempted to make a friend with a fellow monk. I asked them to join my team, and they told me I could off. Slightly disheartened, I continued my journey to find a repair kit. Maybe I will find it someday. Next, I made my way to a clothing store. Perhaps they will have a repair kit, so I crawled my way in, hopeful in my venture. After yet another disappointing venture, I make my way down the sorrow steps to contemplate my next move. I even attempted to go to the pet store. Yet another failure in the books. Maybe this nifty shop will have it. Mother... I'm fine. Everything's fine. Let's just go explore this tower now. Up the stairs we go. What will we find? Nobody knows. Nothing. I found nothing. So let's just go over here. God, help me. God, in fact, did not give me any help. In fact, I found out I wasn't a true monk yet. However, during this conversation, I was accepted as a true monk. My home is truly my home now. Next, I attempted to sleep on this here repair bed. Papa said it would work if needed. Papa was also a chronic liar. So I attempted to make yet another friend. And you probably know how that went. Then, while waiting outside of the traveler's store, this happened. He's healing me! He's healing me! Yes! Pardon my outburst, but I am quite excited. I'm back on my feet, baby. Now, that ends it for episode 1. And episode 2 will feature PC making his first friend. I'll see you there, you sexy you. Last episode, our robotic fox hero barely survived. This time, he finds a repair kit and loses everything. Welcome to days 4 through 7 of our 100 days in Kenshi. This is the rise of Bird and the fall of PC. We finally found a repair kit. Took us 4 days, 1 monk miracle, and a bone dog ambush. But PC's luck was turning, or so we thought. From looting slave traders to meeting a swords master named Bird of Passage. This episode had it all, until the Beak Things came. This is episode 2 of our 100 days in Kenshi, and it's the last time you'll see PC alive. Right after finding a repair kit, I came out into the wilderness and discovered this fella. I challenged him to a duel. PC was doing well, until his arm was made into metallic Swiss cheese. After a short, grueling battle, PC fell hard. After some time of being unconscious, PC finally awoke. And before healing up, PC decided to head home. It's safer in the monk village. And instead of using my own precious repair kit, I had this monk do it. Once again, PC sat down and attempted to make some new friends. Even one would do. However, he failed. Saddened by his lack of friends, PC took to the fields. It always calmed his nerves. And it also reminded him of his papa. While tending to the fields, PC noticed a commotion outside of the gates, so he went to check it out. Upon arrival, PC found a slave merchant battling a bone dog. So naturally he kicked in. After securing victory, PC secured some loot, one of which was a sword worth 30,000 cats. After yoinking the rest of the loot, I headed home. After a short rest, it was time for a big adventure. It was time to explore the Wasteland. After some time exploring, PC could see in the distance a city, so he began to sprint across the wasteland toward the city. And then some evil bone boys began chasing him across the expanse. Run, PC, run! After outrunning the bone boys, I finally arrived at the city, and PC was nervous. Fortunately, PC's anxieties proved wrong, and the city was actually perfectly safe and prosperous. While in the bar, PC talked to virtually everyone there, and well, nobody wished to be his friend. Sad days indeed. That was until PC met a wandering swordsman named Bird of Passage. The pair quickly became friends, and eventually PC learned of Bird's debt. 10,000 cats, in fact, and PC paid it off, freeing Bird forever. Thus, Bird joined the group, and PC gained a friend. I also low-key learned that Bird's sword is worth a lot of cats. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I did not sell it. No, I did not indeed. I really didn't. But we did go look at armor. No, we didn't find anything worth getting. After perusing the shops, the duo went on an adventure through the wasteland. I wonder what they'll find. They found danger, so they began to fight for their lives. The Bone Boys spanked us with their teeth and then ran away. After much time passed, Bird awoke and hobbled over to heal PC. Eventually, PC got up, and together with Bird, they began to heal each other. That sounds weirder out loud. Afterward, the pair headed back into the city. A little rest and relaxation was in order. While Bird slept, PC perused, looking for some new items or gear. After a long nap, Bird was finally ready to go, so off they went on yet another adventure. Oh, look, a monk under attack. Let's go over there, away from the attack. Arriving at the bone fields, we saw a mammoth creature in the distance. So we went to say hi. We only wanted to look at it. Look how big it is. A moment later, the pair found themselves in a cinematic battle, one where they were actually winning. Boom bop beep, boom bop pow. The battle raged on for minutes and minutes and minutes, with me on the edge of my seat. Then, at long last, victory was secured, and the loot gathered in full. Afterwards, the pair once again healed up. You never know what comes next. What came next was being chased home by Beak Things. Few of them, in fact. The War of Monk Mountain had begun. Monks versus Beak Things. And within seconds of the war's start, PC had been killed by a Beak Thing in just a mere seconds, leaving Bird alone to face the remaining Beak Things. The war took many monk lives, but saw the monks victorious in the end. Due to his injuries, Bird returned to the village alone, but would soon return for his fallen brother. On day 6, Bird finally was able to retrieve PC's body and take him home. PC was more than metal and code. He was grit, loyalty, and glitch-born courage. From scavenger to savior, he stood against the chaos and died, protecting only home he'd ever known. Now he rests beside the god of monks. His journey ends here, but the story doesn't. Bird of Passage, the swordmaster with nothing but debt and dreams, now carries the torch. Kenshi won't go easy on him, but legends are forged in loss. Farewell, PC, the desert remembers. A city shimmers in the distance, silent, mysterious, promising adventure. Bird of Passage, our kind survivor, stepped forward with hope in his heart. What he found was cold shackles. Slave, survivor, fugitive. Episode 3 begins where hope ends. Wish PC could have seen this location. PC would have loved it. In hindsight, I realized that PC would, in fact, have hated this city. For you see, this was the home of slave traders. A giant organization that does, well, as their name suggests, they sell slaves. And their eyes were now on Bird. And now standing in front of Bird was a man with a massive mace and an evil glint in his eye. He had already managed to injure Bird's left leg. So he did the only thing he could do. He ran as fast as he could, heading toward the monk village. Bird ran with all of his might, but with an injured leg. Would it be enough to make things even worse? Bird took a tremendous shot to his stomach and was forced to fight for his freedom. However, escape was impossible. Bird was placed in shackles, his gear stolen. Everything seemed incredibly bleak. But then Bird's captor suddenly ran off. Stunned by the sudden miracle, Bird began to hobble his way back to Monk Mountain. His home and freedom were so close, and by the grace of the gods, he made it. From here, rest was in order, both mentally and physically. The hardest part to cope with was the loss of his prized sword. Perhaps one day it'll be re-obtained. Perhaps one day, revenge. Anyway, revenge would have to wait for now. In the meantime, Bird headed out for some shopping. It reminded him of PC and their time together. He missed his friend dearly. During this shopping trip, Bird bought a map or two and a larger carrying pack. Right after, Bird went to the fields. This, too, reminded him of his best friend. This time of reflection allowed Bird to free himself from the mental instability of his capture. It allowed him to refocus. Satisfied with himself, Bird once again headed outside of the safety of the village. Here, Bird would meet up with some fellow monks who were patrolling outside of the village. Bird and the patrolling monks walked everywhere, seemingly everywhere anyways, and as if by fate, the patrolling monks headed toward the slave trader city. And then, in the blink of an eye, the monks laid siege to the slave trader city. Bodies, loot, and repair kits scattered, ironically, everywhere. And it was here that greed took over. In an absolute frenzy, Bird began taking as much as he possibly could. The downside is he was becoming a little heavy. The war was going well. The loot was plentiful. The winds of change were coming. And it was here, while Bird was guarding the gates, that the winds of fate would finally shift. While watching a newly freed slave escape, Bird suddenly took massive damage. Now standing before Bird was an injured, looted, naked guard? Yeah, he was there. He was extremely powerful, and he was ready to kick our... And within a split second, Bird was dropped. And now for the slavers, this was a golden opportunity. This was a slave who had come home. Bird may have been back in shackles. The battle lost, but he was still alive, still breathing, and regaining freedom. That would always be the goal, but for now, Bird was caged. During this time, Bird had seen many things. Swamp raptor attacks, raids, other slaves attempting to escape. I genuinely hope they made it out. War raids, even found some of the monks who had been captured alongside him. And on top of that, this place was absolutely massive, far bigger than I had originally thought. And there were battles going on all over it, almost at all times. But none of that really mattered though, because Bird was stuck in his bird cage. However, on day 9, Bird began to break his shackles. It was time to bust out of his cage. It took time, for the cold steel was tightly fastened around his ankles. Then it happened. The rattle of broken chains and Bird took off. The guards were absolutely stunned. Bird was on the run and had made it through the front gate. Bird ran as fast as he could. But unlike the guards, there was one hot on his tail. The leader of the slave traders was running Bird down himself, and through some miracle actually managed to outrun him, making it back to Monk Mountain. Now safely back in Monk Mountain, Bird took some time to rest and sell what little wares he had. Off screen you didn't see it, but Bird might have stolen some gizmos and gadgets from the Surgeons Guild. But, you know, it's fine. He already had a bounty on his head, so that surely won't come back to haunt him, right? And due to the monks being slightly poor, Bird was unable to sell his wares anywhere here due to the fact that they were worth too much. So Bird set out, intent on selling his wares. He needed a place with more funds to give him. His chosen location, you ask? The city in which he met his deceased best friend in. Feeling extremely comfortable, Bird quickly made his way inside. Before doing anything else, Bird headed over to sell his stolen wares. His wares. After another stop or two and some shenanigans, it was time to go to the bar. But first, look at the unnecessary purchase that I made. It is large, and totally doesn't make up for the fact that I lost my beautiful sword. I'll find it eventually. Now, to the bar. Remember the bounty on my head and also the stolen goods that I recently sold? The police force here is very angry, and suddenly the entire city wants me dead or imprisoned or things, and it's dangerous here. It's time to run away. The new problem is Bird is carrying an incredibly heavy weapon. It might be time to ditch it to try to escape. So that's what was done. Run, Bird, run! Bird made it outside of the city walls, but was tagged by a few arrows. In his attempt to escape, Bird was once again knocked unconscious. Then he was placed within a cage once more. Not as a slave this time. He would eventually be freed after serving his time. And thus, this is how we end Day 10. In a prison cell, waiting to serve out our sentence. But prisons, at least this one, won't last forever.